Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Friday, 2nd of February 2024. 2nd February in Indian history is famous for the birthdays of her birth anniversaries 1882, James Joyce, an Irish novelist, short story writer, poet, teacher, and literary critic. 1889, Amrit Kaur, an Indian activist and a politician. This day is celebrated as a World Wetland Day. Every year on 2nd February, World Wetland Day is celebrated internationally. This day marks the date of the adoption of the Convention on Wetlands on 2nd February 1971 in Ramsar, Iran. It was first celebrated in 1997. Starting the newspaper analyst with the newspaper The Hindu states that puffed up and poll ready. Nirmala Sitharaman's first interim budget. No pre-poll SOPs tax breaks as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman sticks to fiscal deficit commitments, promises new urban housing schemes, added rural homes, rooftop solar solutions, vows to turn as Eastern India into economy's growth engine. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, presenting the 6th Union Budget and her first interim budget, resisted the temptation to hand out dramatic pre-poll soaps like the ones unveiled ahead of 2019 Lok Sabha election, opting instead to bank on the government's track record and the promise of unprecedented development in the next 5 years. While broadly sticking to her assurance that this 2024-25 budget would be a vote on account without a spectacular announcement, Ms. Sitharaman painted an elaborate picture of India's imperfect past prior to 2014, with the economy and the governance needing serious mending. She then outlined how the NDA government, with a nation-first approach, had enabled the transition to a virtually perfect present. It is now appropriate to look at where we were then till 2014 and where we are now, only for the purpose of drawing lessons from the mismanagement of those years. Ms. Sitharaman said, promising a white paper in the House on the mess allegedly inherited by Narendra Modi led the government and the economy's subsequent resurgence to a path of sustainable high growth. People are living better and earning better, with even greater aspirations for the future. Average real income of the people has increased by 50%. Inflation is moderate, she underlined. From this budgeting, there are some few pointers. Number one is new housing schemes. Though there were no tax breaks, some immediate promises were made, including a scheme to enable the deserving urban middle class to buy or build their own homes, 2 crore more rural houses to be built in the next 5 years, and 300 units of free power or a month for 1 crore household through a rooftop solar solutions, as mooted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi after the Ram Mandir's consecration last month. Finance Secretary TV Somnathan said the contours of for the new housing scheme, which does not directly refer to the urban households, but hints at them by picking beneficiaries from chawls, slums, or unauthorized colonies, will be finalized before funding the plan. Apart from a few such feel-good promises, the Finance Minister committed to work with the states and stakeholders to implement next-generation reforms in its next tenure. At the full budget in the July, the government plans to present a detailed roadmap for a vision of a development India by 2047. She said, enunciating some guiding principles that will drive its approach. The second point is poll signals. Mrs. Sitharaman also made it a point to emphasize that the government is committed to turning the eastern parts of India, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh into the growth engines of the economy in the coming Amrit Kal, a term used for a period leading up to 2047. Another plausible poll signal was the constitution of high-powered panel to consider the challenges arising from the fast population growth and demographic challenges, although she parried queries on intent of this move in her post-budget press conference. Number 3 point is the stringent fiscal discipline. While some hopes for measures to spur consumption and rural demand against the backdrop of a poor monsoon and to prod private investments were dashed, Ms. Sitharaman's first fiscal discipline surprised most economists who had expected this year a fiscal deficit target 5.9% of GDP to be breached. The finance minister not only revised the deficit estimate for this year to 5.8% of the GDP, but also committed to hit the 5.1% mark in 2024-25 with a firm eye on bringing the fiscal gap to or below 4.5% of the GDP in 2025-26. Capital expenditures plans for coming year got a more modest but assured 11.1% increase, rising to an ostensibly auspicious number of 11,11,111 crore, and interest-free capex loans to state were raised to 1.3 lakh crore. Yet gross and net borrowing planned in 2024-25 have been lowered from this year's levels to 14.13 lakh crore and 11.75 lakh crore rupees respectively. Interim Budget 2024 government to come out with a white paper on mismanagement of economy prior to 2014, says Sitharaman. Now that the private investment are happening at scale, the lower borrowings by the central government will facilitate larger availability of the credit for the private sector. Ms. Sitharaman hoped, marking a prudent return to the tradition of the keeping interim budgets low on profligacy and high on intent. The Hindu newspaper also states that Biden sanctions 4 Israeli settlers who attacked Palestinians in the West Bank. President Joe Biden on February 1st issued an executive order that targets Israeli settlers in the West Bank who have been attacking Palestinians in the occupied territory, imposing financial sanctions and visa bans in an initial round against 4 individuals. Israeli Defense Forces stepped up raids across the West Bank after the war begins. President Joe Biden is facing growing criticism for his administration's strong support of Israel as casualties mount in the conflict, which began when Hamas, the militant group that rules Gaza, attacked Israel on October 7. The Hindu newspaper also states that 2024 interim budget includes innovative sign of continuity. Prime Minister Modi, in a televised address following the budget, Mr. Modi said it will be empower the 4 pillars of developed India, namely the young, poor, women, and farmers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during the presentation of the interim budget 2024 in the Lok Sabha at Parliament House in New Delhi on February 1st, 2024, Thursday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi characterized the interim budget tabled on Thursday as inclusive and innovative, one that carries the confidence of continuity. A reference to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's assertion in Parliament that it will be yet another Modi-led government that will present the full budget in July after the Lok Sabha elections. This budget will empower all pillars of developed India, the youth, the poor, women, and farmers. It carries the guarantee of strengthening the foundations of Viksit Bharat by 2047. He said in a remarks made directly after the tabling of the union budget. On Wednesday, the start of the budget session, Mr. Modi had, in his customary remarks, said that the interim budget will not have any major announcements, but broad guidelines for the future, and the budget speech on Thursday reflected that, stating that the budget reflected the aspirations of the young India. He highlighted the 2 significant announcements in the budget, that of a fund of rupees 1 lakh crore for research and innovations, and the extension of tax exemptions for startups. We set a big goal, achieve it, and then set an even better goal for ourselves, he said, referring to the target to build 2 crore more houses for the poor under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and create a 3 crore Lakhpati Divdas, this as a part of women's empowerment. He added also that keeping the fiscal deficit under the control at a time when the total expenditure has seen historic rise to 11,11,111 crore in this budget was in the parlance of the economists hitting a sweet spot. It will create millions of new employment opportunities for the youth, along with the creation of modern infrastructure of the 21st century, Mr. Modi said. He singled out the measures taken by his government for the poor and the middle class, including the Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojana, the rooftop solar campaign, which 1 crore families are to avail free electricity, while also have the potential to earn 15,000 to 18,000 annually by selling excess electricity to the government. He made a special mention of the tax remission scheme announced in Thursday's budget speech that is expected to provide relief for 1 crore taxpayers caught up in the disputes with the tax authorities over petty amounts from as far back as the 1960s, stating that this too would give relief to the middle class. Going towards the Indian Express newspaper states that snipers killed 3 CRPF men in Chhattisgarh. Bulletproof vehicles helped push 400 plus Maoists back, officials. The Maoists were 400 and 500 fighters strong, including 200 from one of their most dangerous battalions, the Battalion 1st of the People's Liberation Guerrilla Army, PLGA, headed by their new chief, Barse Diva, officials said. Security personnel carry a mortal remains of a CRPF personnel who lost their life in a Naxal attack in Jagdalpur on Wednesday. Indian Express also states that by the time of Gyan Vapi matter reaches Supreme Court, much water would have flown down the bridge. Puja will continue influence the case. This is all a plan, AIMPLB. All opposition parties are opportunists. Fear Hindus will get upset if they say anything. You should speak about Insaf. Opting for silence is not a solution. An aerial view shows the Gyan Vapi mosque left hand. The Kashvishwanath temple on the bank of the river Ganga in the Varanasi, India, December 12, 2021. An Indian court on Thursday ruled that officials can conduct a scientific survey to determine if the 17th century mosque in the country's north was built over a Hindu temple or not. Indian Express also states that 1981 amendment does a half-hearted job. Supreme Court reserves verdict on Aligarh Muslim University minority tag. Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud, presiding over a 7-judge constitution bench, made the observation on a reference that arose from the 2006 verdict of the Allahabad High Court, which held that Aligarh Muslim University, which was established in 1920, was not a minority institution. The bench reserved its verdict on the minority status of Aligarh Muslim University. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that India concerned over the violence and instability in Myanmar. New Delhi, India, on Thursday expressed concern at the violence and the instability in Myanmar on the 3rd anniversary of 2021, coped by the junta, and said development there have direct implication for the security of the country. A squad of Myanmar pro-democracy fighter workers to ready drones for an attack on nearby military base, the target in a wave of aerial assaults that has helped turn the war against the junta. The Times also states that 35 million new cancer cases projected in 2050. World Health Organization report. Lung cancer is the most commonly occurring cancer worldwide, with the 2.5 million new cases accounting for 12.4% of the total new cases. New Delhi, the number of new cancer cases likely to rise at least 35 million in 2050, 77% higher than the cases diagnosed in 2022, announced the World Health Organization in its report on Thursday, attributing the increased tobacco and alcohol consumption, obesity, and air pollution. Hindustan Times also states that Bhutan, biggest beneficiary of India's external aid portfolio. New Delhi, the External Affairs Minister was on the Thursday allocated Mr. Jaishankar rupees 22,154 crore in the budget for 2024-25, up from rupees 18,050 crore in 2023-24, while Bhutan was provided the largest share of the external aid portfolio with an outlay of rupees 2,068 crore. Buddha Dhamma Temple in Bhutan. Going towards the economy of the country from the business point of view, a center follows a calibrated approach to divestments in financial year 2025 To Hind Konta Pandey, Secretary Department of Investment and Public Asset Management DIPAM, said that the government will be adopt a more gradual and calibrated disinvestment approach, with its major focus being wealth creation. According to the data available with the DIPAM, the government has managed to raise rupees 12,504.32 crore so far in the current financial year, with the majority of the funds coming in the form of offers for sale, OFS, and initial public offerings of CPSEs. From the budget point of view, tax buoyancy once again helps center align with its fiscal consolidation roadmap. Direct tax revenues have shown a sharp surge, with the income tax seen overshooting the budget estimate for this financial year by 13.5%, and securities transaction tax (STT) revenue seen exceeding budget estimate by 15.8%. The strong growth in the tax revenues reflects the high tax buoyancy, which works out to be a 1.2 in the revised estimates for financial year 2023-24 as against 1.0 in financial year 23. For 2024-25, the tax buoyancy is seen at 1.1. Interim Budget 2024, no pole vault, major step looking ahead. Presenting her sixth straight budget, Sitharaman said the government had overcome every challenge of the pre-2014 era and placed India on a resolved path of sustained high growth. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says. Going towards the world news, including India, American student found dead in the Ohio, third such incident in weeks. Joe Biden imposes sanctions on Israeli settlers accused of West Bank violence. Hamas unlikely to reject a ceasefire, but will demand Israeli withdrawal, report. Explosion strikes near the vessel in the Red Sea of Yemen as Houthi rebel attacks continue. Climate activist Greta Thunberg goes on trial in London for blocking oil and gas conference. Dubai-based Emirates rolls out pre-approved visa on arrival for select Indian passport holders. What was the science and technology? February stargazing, snow, moon, Jupiter, moon, kiss, and other celestial events. Celestial events in February. Here are some of the brilliant sights you can catch a glimpse of during the moon month. The full moon in February is called a snow moon. Watch world's first footage of baby a great white shark accidentally captured by YouTuber. A YouTuber may have captured the first video of baby great white shark. When we went to the beach in California a year ago, Carlos Ghosn had no idea he would be creating a history. From tech point of view, Google holds research event in the Bengaluru, inviting artificial intelligence practitioners, scientists. Google on Thursday invested leading artificial intelligence researchers and scientists to first research at the rate of event it hosted in Bengaluru. Google on Thursday hosted its first ever research event in Bengaluru, bringing together leading artificial intelligence practitioners and researchers to discuss local solutions and act as a platform for collaborative interaction. From the left to right, Manish Gupta, Director Research, Google; Grace Chung, Director Research, Google Australia; Jeff Deans, Chief Scientist, Google DeepMind and Google Research. At last, this is a famous quotation said by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, whose birth anniversary is 17th of October 1817, Delhi, and died in March 27, 1898. At Aligarh, India. Muslim educator, jurist and author, founder of the Anglo-Mohammedan Oriental College at Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh, India, and the principal of the motivating force behind the revival of Indian Islam in the late 19th century. His work is in Urdu included essays of the life of Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1870, and commentaries on the Bible and on the Quran. In 1888, he was made a Knight Commander of the Star of India. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan says a famous quotation. He says that the basis of all progress is that you should bring all treasures of knowledge under your control. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan also says that education is the best legacy that a parent can leave for his child. Okay, thank you.